My name's Jonathan Dawson, and this story happened when I was just 10 years old, a time when boys learned quickly, or not at all. Before we begin, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories from the Wild West. Thanks. It was the day everything changed. The summer heat had been relentless for weeks. The land was dry and the wind carried dust instead of a breeze. Shores were tougher in that sun. Paul said it was a kind of heat that made animals twitchy and men irritable. He was right. We were building a new chicken coop that morning. The old one had rotted and Paul wanted something stronger, something that could endure the wind and time. I held the nails and passed Paul boards, one by one. My little sister Annie sat in the shade to her doll, Clover. That's when it happened. Paul was on the ladder, hammering the roof frame into place when the ladder shifted. I noticed it before he did. The wobble, the way his boot lost grip. The whole thing crashed down. Wood, dust, and Paul, all at once. "Paul!" I dropped the nails and ran. He was on the ground, holding his leg. His face was pale and his jaw was clenched tight. I'd never seen Paul look scared before. That frightened me more than anything. "Stay with Annie," he said, his voice strained with pain. "Don't let her see me like this." But I didn't stay. I ran. The closest neighbor was Mr. Harlan, 3 miles down the road. I'd never gone that far alone, but I didn't think. I just saddled Buck, tightened the straps, and climbed up like Ma had shown me 100 times. My hand shook. "Hang on, Paul. I'll be back." The prairie stretched out before me, long, dusty, and empty. Every hoofbeat echoed in my chest. The sun was harsh overhead. My shirt stuck to my back, and the wind stung my eyes. But I didn't stop. I couldn't. I thought about what would happen if I didn't make it in time. What if Paul's leg was worse than it looked? What if I got lost? What if... No. I pushed those thoughts away. I kept going. At one point, a snake crossed the road. Buck reared up and I nearly lost the reins. My heart pounded in my ears. But I held on. I held on for Paul. By the time I saw Mr. Harlan's cabin, my throat was raw from dust and shouting. He came out with wide eyes before I even reached the gate. "Paul fell," I gasped. "He's hurt bad. Please, come quick." Mr. Harlan didn't ask questions. He grabbed his wagon, filled a canteen, and told me to get back on Buck. "Right ahead. Show me the way." I nodded, too tired to speak. We got back just as the sun was setting. Ma had already wrapped Pa's leg and tried to keep Annie calm. When she saw me riding in with the wagon, her eyes filled with tears, not from fear, but relief. Mr. Harlan checked Pa over and then nodded, calmly. "Clean break. He'll need rest and help around the farm." I didn't sleep much that night. I sat on the porch watching the stars. Ma came out and wrapped a blanket around my shoulders. "You did good, Jonathan," she said softly. "You were brave." I didn't feel brave. I felt scared, exhausted, small. "But I was the only one who could go," I whispered firmly. "That's what made it brave," she said proudly. "You did what needed to be done." Pa used crutches for weeks. I helped with every chore, milking, hauling water, feeding Flint. Sometimes he'd smile from the porch and say, "Not bad for a 10-year-old." But I knew something changed that day, not just in Pa's leg or in how much Ma trusted me, but in me. I wasn't just the boy who followed orders. I was the boy who rode into the dust when it mattered, and I'd do it again. Next time, I'll tell you about the day a stranger rode onto our land and how one question changed everything. But that's a story for another fight.